Before 2018, only 3 number 1 songs ever spent less than 4 weeks in the top 10, and these cases were considered outliers. For example, Taylor Hicks' Do I Make You Proud from 2006, which peaked at number 1 and then completely fell off the chart after only 8 weeks. That made it the shortest run in history for a number 1 hit, a record it would hold for 14 years. However, in the streaming and digital landscape, we see these kind of chart drop-offs all the time, mainly due to shady games that artists and labels play. If you were on Twitter in 2020, you likely remember when Nicki Minaj and 6ix9ine's Trolls went number 1 in its first week before falling to number 34 in its second week, making it the steepest fall from number 1 in chart history. And this was kind of a mask-off moment when it came to conversations about chart manipulation, which was especially ironic coming from Nicki Minaj, who was very vocal the previous year when Travis Scott's Astroworld beat her album Queen to number 1 through some kind of sales shenanigans. But Trolls wouldn't hold that record for long, as later that same year Taylor Swift's Willow debuted at number 1 before falling to number 38 in its second week. And then the record was beat again in 2023 when Jimin from BTS's Like Crazy fell from number 1 to number 45. And then again this year when Travis Scott's 4x4 fell from number 1 to number 57. These are excluding holiday Christmas drop-offs, by the way. So why is this happening all the time? Well, I suspect you're sensing a pattern with the artists I'm discussing in this video. That is, they're all a bit chart obsessed to varying degrees, and moreover have fan bases who are chart obsessed and willing to participate in mass buying, other kind of chart manipulation. Still, to collect at number 1, to debut at the top is worth it in these people's eyes. And can I really blame them? I mean, the whole point of this account is basically to talk about the charts. However, I do think this kind of chart manipulation is kind of bad form. I believe the chart should reflect the biggest songs in America any given week, and this kind of thing hijacks that. It's interesting especially because hit songs actually tend to stick around the chart for longer nowadays. Top 20 hits today spend about 30 weeks on average on the chart. That's compared to about 20 weeks just about a decade ago. Lose Control still in the top 10 this week. Like I've said so many times, these kind of massive falls are almost always because of some kind of sketchy business going on. Most innocently, some kind of mass buying on the fan part. And then of course, on the more sinister end of things, you have like the kind of payola related discussions, which I tend to think are a little bit overblown, but it probably does happen to some degree. Billboard has been decent about patching these kind of chart manipulating methods. Still, artists find a way. See Travis Scott most recently. I do wonder if we'll ever see a song go number 1 and then completely fall off the chart in the second week. I would kind of love to see it. What do you think of this phenomenon? What artist is going to have the next free falling number 1? Let me know.